Idea that there are so many varying levels of experience, of knowledge that our clients come in with.
Okay, so something that has changed my perception about poverty is where I grew up. It was always like kind of like expected. You finish high school, you like go to college, and like I kind of thought that like people that were in poverty just like screwed up and like didn't make the right choices in life. Like the majority. I didn't think that about like everybody, but I just kind of like always thought that they like kind of brought it on themselves by not working hard enough or something like that. But I realized like poverty has a lot to do with the circumstances you're raised in and the circumstances that are like a lot of times like outside of their control, and just the culture that they're brought up in. And so, and a lot of times they're like, we have clients that come in here that are working so hard just to find like a place to live, like harder than like any of us have ever worked for like anything else in our life. And so it's just kind of really sad to know that about what they're going through.
I think before I came, I had like a general image of putting poverty and homelessness together. I think I really sort of thought of like a poor individual living in the United States as being homeless, and I think that there's a lot of different varying degrees of poverty and what different problems people are experiencing. I mean, you know, even people who come in here with housing still have a lot of serious problems with, you know, where they're living and what their living situations are and access to other resources. And I think I've sort of kind of redefined my scope of what poverty means.
I guess for me, I've read a lot about poverty just as Jane has, and I've always heard like the words, you know, safety net and stuff like that, where people just need like support. But I guess I see that a lot of people that come here just like don't have the support that a lot of us have, and that's like part of the reason why they become impoverished. So, yes.
I spent a lot of time doing like research on poverty on like the international level and on like in developing countries, and how hard like the economic crisis hit people in underdeveloped countries and how America bounced back. But it was like it's been really interesting to meet a lot of clients who had jobs for like 30 years and never thought they'd have to apply for a link card, and realize how easy it is to become someone living in poverty when you didn't think that would ever be you, but it's all because of like your circumstance and just like having bad luck, basically.
Okay, I think someone said this, but I found it surprising how hard it is to find resources for people who are having problems, especially for housing in Chicago. Like, everyone says that housing in their city is bad, but it actually is like terrible here, like for shelters or anything. Like, there's just like not much available, and it's amazing how hard, like how little the city is doing to provide resources.
For poverty, I thought it was kind of interesting to see how poverty can like so easily affect anyone, that like it could, even like the master's student who just graduated can be in poverty, the person who's been working for 4 years and like their hours have been cut now to like part-time so that they need to apply to a second job. It's people that you wouldn't really think would be affected by poverty can be just as easily hit as someone who like didn't go to high school or something. So it's not just like that stereotype of, oh, that homeless person down the street is the only person in poverty. There's plenty of people in poverty that are silent about the struggles they're going through.
One perception about poverty that has changed. I think that I'm understanding that poverty is a very dynamic thing, whereas more before starting at Lyft, I thought if you were born into poverty, if you were raised around poverty, that can be your life and you can get out of it, but I never really thought about people entering into poverty. And I think it's also a very difficult thing because social services being cut, you know, poverty has become more and more expansive because people don't have the resources needed to get out. So that poverty it's dynamic, and it's a difficult thing to kind of control. And I don't think that I thought it was as complex as it was.